What's going on, guys? My name is FlameHorizon, and I'm coming at you with my draft analysis for the APA Academy. I believe it's Season 3 of the APA Academy, or it's Season 4. It's one of the two. All I know is that I'm very excited to bring you this draft analysis and kind of go through step by step on how I thought while building this team. Some rules about this league that are different from other leagues is they will allow Gigantamaxing, but your Gigantamax Pokemon has to hold a Pokeball of any kind. It could be a Pokeball, Great Ball, any kind of Pokeball that you want them to hold. And as you'll see later, I picked one of the Gigantamax Pokemon that I thought would fit my playstyle a bit more. It's also the one that I wanted to use the most. I picked it before knowing that rule about the Pokeball, but we're going to have to roll with it, because I should have prefaced before I just went willy-nilly. But yeah, I really like my team. It's got decent speed control in the lower tiers. In the upper tiers, there's a lot of bulk and some good damage output. Yeah, I'm really excited to go through this. I'm going to go through this step by step, and we'll start off with our first pick here. So when I first started out playing competitive, like in OU and Sword and Shield on Showdown, one Pokemon stood out to me. I added it to basically every team I made, just because I think it kind of countered the meta at the time, and then now all the home Pokemon are out. And this is a home league, so we'll be playing over with the land timer, and people will have like hidden abilities that aren't released yet and junk like that. But I did decide to go with, and you'll see them right over there, I did decide to go with Corviknight. Now the main reason I went with Corviknight is just because it's got two really great abilities in Pressure for PP stalling, and it's got Mirror Armor. And I really like Mirror Armor, because then you can send this thing in, and anything that has like Intimidate can't lower its attack, or anything that gets their attack lowered in response. So things like Arcanine, which would normally want to switch in against a Corviknight, can't. Things, what are some other things? If they're trying to like drop my defense with some move, their defense is going to get dropped. If they're trying to drop my special defense, their special defense will get dropped. If they're going to use Defog against it, their evasiveness will get dropped, and if I'm using a move that has lower lower accuracy, you see, I kind of like Mirror Armor. Mirror Armor is kind of that niche tech that not a lot of people, I think, abuse as much. But going on from that, Flying and Steel type, kind of the new Skarmory, but I actually personally think it's better than Skarmory. Even though it doesn't get hazards, it does get bulk up, it gets Heavy Slam, Brave Bird, Body Press. One of my favorite sets to run, and I've used it on Showdown a lot, is I'll use Bulk Up and Body Press. So if he does get burned, Body Press still does a ton because it bases off your defense stat. And then I'll run Bulk Up, Body Press, Roost, and I think Brave Bird for other coverage. There are a couple things that can beat that, like Aegislash beats that 1v1. But since this is draft format, I'll probably only have to face Aegislash maybe once or twice, because there was 2 pools. If you didn't miss the draft stream, it was earlier today, and I believe they're going to upload the whole stream. I'll try to pop in as time goes on there. I'm recording this before the draft stream starts. I'll try to record it before, I'll try to pop in as time goes on with that draft stream. If I didn't, it's because I was at work. But moving on to my second pick, after going after Corviknight, I'm like, okay, so I have to get the Gigantamax Pokemon I want now, because if I don't grab it now, I won't get it. Just because it's one of the ones that has like kind of a niche, but also it's one of the better ones in my opinion. I decided to pick the ace of probably my favorite gym leader in this game as well, just because of her design and just the way that she works, but I did decide to go with Gigantamax Lapras. The main reason I wanted Lapras is because, well, its G-Max move is kind of busted. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, it's G-Max move. But basically, I use any Ice-type move while it's G-Maxed, and I get 5 turns of Veil for free. So, people could bring Brick Break to counter that and whatnot, but 5 turns of Veil for free, basically the last turn, I don't have to use an Ice-type move until the last turn it's out, and then it shrinks back down, and then I have 4 turns of Veil, so I could switch out into something that could abuse that Veil, and you'll see later I do have some Veil abusers that could come in and set up, and then I might make some transactions as my team progresses. I always like to do the first week with my full team that I drafted, and I might make some transactions to get more Veil abusers, but we'll continue from there. Even Lapras behind Veil does really well. It's got a pretty decent stats all across the board, and then when it Gigantamax is doubling its HP stat, that shouldn't be allowed, but because Lapras has like base 130 HP or something silly like that. Then Water and Ice is just really good coverage overall. After that, I was like, okay, let's round off my Dragon Fairy Steel Core, because I already have my Steel, so let's go with a Dragon, and then we'll pick up a Fairy after that. So Corviknight was my tier 1, Lapras is my G-Max, which gave me no extra points, because it was one of those mid-tier G-Maxes. And then my Dragon type, I decided to go with a tier 2, which is Goodra. And those of you who know me know I like Goodra in any forms. There's this other league I'm in where someone coded in all the Insurgents Pokemon into Pokemon Showdown, and I've been using the Delta Goodra in there, and it's just doing phenomenal. Same kind of playstyle as Goodra, just different typing and different moveset a little bit as well. But then normal Goodra, same stats as that. AV is really nice. It's got a decent speed stat to outspeed certain things if I need it to. It's got really nice bulk, got really good coverage, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Thunderbolt. I think it gets Ice Beam as well, so it gets the Bolt Beam coverage. I get some Water type moves if I'm not wrong. It's got really insane coverage. The only thing that holds it back is its speed and its physical defense, which I have some things later in the draft that'll patch up that physical defense hole right there. Corviknight also takes physical hits really well. But the way my team is shaping out is kind of like slow, bulky offense, right now at least, and it'll kind of continue that way for a little bit longer, but then rounding out the end of my draft, I will grab some faster picks. So after Goodra, I was like, okay, let's grab my fairy. What's a tier 3 fairy on the board? And I looked through all the tier 3 fairies, and I'm like, you know what? I'm using the pre-evolve form of this in APA-LC, so let's bring it into the academy. And I did decide to go with Aromatisse. And the thing with Aromatisse is not only will it work as a cleric, which is probably what it's going to be designated for. Aromatisse is one of those Pokemon that, what was I going to say? Aromatisse is one of those Pokemon that can come in and also like set up a nasty plot and just decide to threaten something out of nowhere if you wanted to. I can pop a Choice Specs on this thing and just fire off Choice Specs Moonblasts, because Choice Specs Fairy type moves sometimes just can tear through teams. It's got really good coverage. I believe it gets Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Psychic, Moonblast. It does get a couple other things that Spritzee doesn't, because it is evolved. But then also Wish Passing, Aromatherapy, or Heal Bell, which are the two it has. I know it has some form of cleric option. Passing around wishes for my team will work really well, because some of my Pokemon don't have good recovery, and passing wishes to them will be very beneficial. So next I was like, okay, I've got my Water type. Let's pick up a Grass type now, and then I'll save the Fire type for later. Because there was a Grass type I really wanted to get, just to see how it'll do this game with the Rapid Spin buff. It's also a spin blocker itself, and some of you already know who this is. I did decide to go with Dhelmise, and Dhelmise Grass Ghost typing, which I think is phenomenal typing. There's a lot of them, but I did decide to go with Dhelmise specifically for one reason. It has Rapid Spin, and it basically has 3 stab moves, which are really good stab moves. It has Grass Stab, Ghost Stab, and then Steel Stab with Steel Rigger. Just firing off Steel type Anchor Shots for stab bonus, and trapping in fairies. This thing's going to do really well. It fits in with my team a little bit too as well, because my team does have a little bit of doesn't really have a steel weakness or a fairy weakness, but it doesn't really have like a good way to deal with fairies other than Corviknight, and they're going to expect that. So having this on there to fire off steel type moves for basically stab damage, throwing an AV on this, and then like Rapid Spin, Power Whip, Shadow Claw, and Anchor Shot. That'll probably be the set I run most weeks, but I'll definitely play around with it as time goes on. I just kind of needed that Rapid Spin support. That's the main thing from this. Because, as you can see, the only other hazard removal I have so far was Defog on Corviknight. And that's not going to cut it every week. So I need something that can come in and do other things as well. So I'm looking through the draft at my next pick, and I'm like, why is this Pokemon still sitting here? Why on earth is this absolute behemoth just sitting there waiting to be picked? I did decide to go with Tyranitar. And I haven't uploaded my BBL game yet. I'll upload it on Monday, but you'll see that Tyranitar, I can use it fairly well. It's got a lot of options. Being able to set up Dragon Dance, being able to set up Rock Polish, it's got really good setup. Being able to just come in and set up rocks and have really good special defense because of the sand. And having the sand and the ice kind of conflict with the Gigantamaxing of Lapras plus the sand of Tyranitar, or the water if I want Lapras to set off like a water type move before it dies as well. So I can have the Rain Abuse with... actually, I just thought of that Rain Abuse with Goodra coming in and setting up a rest with it and having hydration, sleep off the rain. That just popped in my head. That's actually really good. Back on the Tyranitar. Stealth Rocks. It's got Crunch. It did lose Pursuit this generation, so it doesn't have that utility. But being able to come in and just scare out any ghost type, being able to come in and scare out psychic types, being able to come in and scare out basically any special attacker that isn't going to fire off a fighting type move is going to be clutch. Because I don't really have a weakness to anything, really. My team's kind of balancing itself out now. Nothing really is a glaring weakness against me, because you can't come in and fire off Earthquakes, because I have Corviknight and Delmise. You can't come in and fire off fighting type moves, because I curse Delmise and then Aromatisse. So far my draft, I think, is balancing itself out quite nicely. Up next, however, I needed a little bit more hazard support for my team to wear some things down, so that way other things can come in and pick up KOs. And I also needed a lot of speed to make people not want to like speed creep my team and then get beat. So I did decide to draft one of the fastest Pokemon that is in this game currently, and I did go with a Selgor. And those of you who know what a Selgor does, it's kind of a menace. It gets U-turn for momentum. It gets spikes and toxic spikes, so I can choose either one of those, or even choose both if I want to. Giga Drain, Bug Buzz, it's got a decent special attack stat, so I can go in and do some hits fairly well. It's mainly going to be there for the speed control, the momentum, and the hazard control. Being able to just come in and set up a layer of spikes and then U-turn out on whatever wants to come in against it, because it's going to outspeed most everything on the opponent's team, unless they're going to have like a Jolteon, which I think it might speed tie even. I'm not exactly sure, speed-wise. So prepping, I'll definitely go in, because those of you who don't know, I really like to speed creep. Especially at level 50, speed creeping is fun, because it's just math, and I really like math. So this thing's going to be doing a lot of speed creeping. After that, I decided, well, now I have a U-turner there. I also have a U-turner in Corviknight. Let's go with a Volt Switcher, and let's go with an Electric type and a Psychic type. Because we are playing in land mode, and I know Home is officially out, so we would be able to use this Pokemon anyways. But I did decide to go with Alolan Raichu. And let me tell you, Alolan Raichu is going to be fun. Because it gets Nasty Plot, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Psychic, Energy Ball, I believe. It gets Surf as well if I wanted to run that. I could run E-Speed, could run Fake Out. This thing can get a lot, just because it has a very diverse move pool. And I can basically run it in any way I want to. I can give it Electric Surge and set up its own terrain, so that way Surge Surfer double speed with anything. Send it in, it's a Water type, set up Electric Surge, outspeed its entire team, and KO. I really do like Raichu. Probably one of my favorite Pokemon from Alola is Alolan Raichu, which is sad because it's technically a Kanto Pokemon. Alola didn't really have a lot of good Pokemon in my opinion. But moving on from Raichu, we're going to go into my next pick, which is actually a Cantonian Pokemon that does have a form in 2 regions. I did decide to go with Persian. I was like, okay, I need normal spam. I need something with a good move pool that I can just come in and run random sets throughout every week that I want to bring it. Because not only does it get, like Fake Out, and then I can run like Body Slam for normal coverage. I think it gets Body Slam, or Double Edge, whichever one works. Shadow Claw, Sucker Punch, a whole bunch of physical coverage that it can have. And then, what else was I going to say? It also gets a lot of special coverage. I think it has like Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Water Pulse if I want to run that. If Water Pulse is in the game even. I'm not even sure if Water Pulse is in the game because I've never used it. It gets a lot of special moves. It can come in and set up a Nasty Plot and just kind of have fun with that. But mainly it's going to be kind of like Fake Out and U-turn spam. Getting momentum, breaking stashes, breaking sturdy, taking things out that are really low. It'll get Quick Attack as well, so if they protect on the Fake Out, I can surprise them with Quick Attack, things like that. Just kind of there for a general annoyance. And then after that, after Persian, I'm like, okay, let's grab my Fire type now, and let's be the most basic Pokemon player on the planet. And decided to grab the best starter, which I don't agree with. It's not the best starter. But I did decide to go with Charizard. And Charizard in this game actually has a lot of things going for it just because of one item, and that's Heavy Duty Boots. Heavy Duty Boots turn Charizard into something that gets cut in half and just completely eviscerated, into something that can come in and be a genuine threat. As you see with the Aurora Veil support, I can send this thing in and actually set up a Dragon Dance and run a physical set. I can send this thing in after the Aurora Veil is up, set up Sun for myself, and then just start tearing through teams with Solar Power boosted Sun. I can send this thing in with a Choice Scarf and fire off Choice Scarf Hurricanes and fire off Choice Scarf Fire Blasts, fire off Choice Scarf Dragon Pulses even. I can just have a lot of fun with this thing. Choice Specs even if I wanted to, because I might do some trades later in the league to support Charizard a bit more. Because I kind of want to pull a, I already forgot the champion's name, a Leon, and use Charizard a lot. But we'll see what happens. And then to round off my draft, I'm like, oh crap, I need a ground type, and there's no tier 5 ground types left except for this one. So this is probably one of the reasons I'm going to have to do some trades. But I'm not sure if I prefer this or Tyranitar on my team, because I can switch Tyranitar out for another dark type if I wanted to, or I can switch this out for another ground type. So I'm kind of tossing it back and forth in my head. I did decide to go with Rhydon, and as I said, both of them are rock type. Both of them have stealth rocks, both of them are really bulky. I don't know which one I want to keep more, so if you let me know down in the comment section which one I should drop more, that'd be really nice. But being able to, come in and take really beefy physical hits, this thing also gets Surf. So I could send the thing in against like a Carkol and just fire off a Surf if I wanted to, but it would expect an Earthquake anyways. It's really bulky with EVO Light, and that's kind of why I might drop this instead, because knocking off the EVO Light kind of cripples this thing. We're coming in, setting up rocks, clicking Stone Edge, clicking Earthquake, things like that. It's going to be an overall general menace, at least in my opinion, but I may drop it. But that's the team for this season. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys will enjoy the season. APA Academy. For those who don't know, a while back I was in normal APA, and then I had to leave because of family issues. So this is my way to try to work my way back up into that. And I was in it before it boomed, which is kind of unfortunate that family issues did arise and I had to drop. But this is my way to try to get back in and try to get back into the main league. So I'm going to do a lot of prep with this league and try to go really ham, really hard with this league, because I want to do well. I want to get back into where I was. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care, and God bless you.